You should be able to hear me now. Is that correct? Now can you hear me? Anyone? 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 No sound. You're on mute. Still nothing. All right. It's on. Okay, good. You know, this happens every single time. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how much I prep for it. As soon as I start the stream, it selects a different audio device. So hopefully, let me tone that down a little bit because it looks like it's spiking. All right. All right, that should work for you guys. All right, everybody, thanks for joining on tonight. Appreciate it. And I want to say hi to everybody. Make sure I get through. We've got, I can't go back that far. Let me go back to the other one here and see if I can see everybody. There's Jeremy, there's Christy, Team Cataholic. All right. I don't know if that's Tony or Phil. Lyle's there, Doug. All right, guys, 34 comments here. So I'll get everybody. Again, thanks for joining tonight. I wanted to just give you guys an update. You've seen some updates already. But we'll go through it all here. And I'll try to keep up with your comments as we go through. Robert Craig, you hear me now. Doug Evans, thanks. Lyle, Jeremy, James Webb. You have found a voice. Berglund, yep, all right. Marty, there you are. Robert Craig, okay. All right, guys, so let's go through real quick. Thanks, Andy. Joel's there. So, obviously, everyone's seen the update that was out about the national championship. Jody and I talked quite a bit. There's other people involved setting up the tournament, or talking about setting up and how to frame the tournament. And Jody came up and he came here out to Kansas City and he looked around and looked at different fishing options and everything else, and he submitted some papers to the city and all that for an event, and we tried to help him as much as we could. And then when he had another opportunity come his way, I tell you, if I had that same kind of opportunity, I would have taken it too, no doubt about it. And so he needed to hand off things that would have conflicts with his other opportunities. So we got the national championship. We were a city that was picked for the next national championship, and we'd kind of been involved with it from that point. And so it was a natural transition. And that's, in short, that's how we got it. Because of the transition that happened this week, a lot of things are going to be, or were by default, put on hold. And so we sent some communications out to the city, and we work closely with them, and they're really good. They're really nice to work with. And so what does that mean? Just like that letter stated, the 2020 event was recommended that we don't have a 2020 event. I didn't have any sponsors or anything handed off to me, so we're starting from a baseline right now and kind of build up from there. With that said, I have sent off an email to the city explaining what I would like to do and like to see happen, because we do have people qualified in our series and our events for the national championship too. I sent out, so we're not alone in this boat. Other tournaments have people qualified wanting to fish the national championship also. So I sent out, Jody gave me a very long list of tournament trails and points of contacts. And so I sent out messages to them the other day, and it's kind of funny. I was messaging everyone. I didn't have an email on. And so I could send out as a group email explaining to everything at once. And Facebook blocked me because apparently the algorithm thought I was a robot and I was spamming people. So I got blocked and couldn't message for quite a while. So finally last night I got that out, or got a lot of people, not everybody's email list back or email address back. And I wrote up an email today in between calls, and I've had a lot of calls And so while I'm writing this email, I would lose train of thought because I'm on a call. And then as the person's talking, I try to type a little bit more and back and forth and everything. So I butchered my email. I think I got my point across to everybody, but it wasn't the best email I've ever sent out. First impressions, that always works. But I got a lot of good responses back and a lot of people volunteering to come up and give us a hand running one. And I let them know what I was trying to do and what I'd like to see happen because, again, we're all in the same boat. They have people qualified to fish the events. We have people qualified to fish the events. The anglers want this kind of an event, so we're going to see what we can pull together and get an event. There's no guarantees we can. We could always have an event, no added money, no sponsors, nothing, and just get people fishing. But that's not what the guys want. That doesn't help the sport. So we're going to try to shape something up for everybody and get everyone on the water and compete. So no guarantees. There's the Russians. No guarantees, but it's worth a shot, and that's what I can say right now is we're taking a shot to try to do something. But it does give us time to build up the next national championship no matter what. It does give us that. And there's a couple options, and I'm going to reach out to a few people and talk to them about it. Some of the people I messaged or sent that email to is a group email, like I said. I sent that email out to them. They weren't quite sure. Everyone's busy. They weren't quite sure how to qualify their people for the event. So I sent the standards to get them qualified as it came from Jody, from his post, sent him a link to that post. And because people already started qualifying under that set of rules or guidelines, hey, Sonny, we got to stick with that. We have people already qualified under those same rules. Other tournament trails do. We have to stick with it. We can't change it, mid-course right now. So we're going to do that and try to keep those lists up. So that's the admin side of things, and we'll pull it together, and we'll try to keep a list of people that's qualified through 2019. And one way or another, we'll get something for them. May not be 2020. We may have 2 events in 1 year. Who knows? But the guys want it, and as long as there's interest in doing it, we'll do what we can to get them something. So there's that. Not a whole lot. No big update. We've got it, and now we have room to grow it, and that's a good thing. I will say this. We can thank Jody for bringing attention to... All right. And when I say we can thank Jody for this, we partner with the city, and we've approached the city, Kansas City, a couple times, and other cities around on the Missouri side too. Hey, Austin. Of how big the sport is growing. And one example that we use a lot when we're during these discussions is the Catfish Chasers, Dave Studebakers and Craig's event up in St. Joe. We use that as an example of what a tournament can look like when a city, a municipality gets behind a tournament series. Now they can't do it for every single one of the tournaments that series may have, but we see what can happen in St. Joe and how great that is. And we use it, like I said, as an example when we talk in ours. So we talked to the city, and they're like, all right, they listened to us a little bit. And then we took the representative with us to the Catfish conference, and they got to see it firsthand. And then they really kind of got interested. They talked to Jody down there. They've talked to Steve Douglas down there in Hervey, and several other people we introduced them to. And all this stemmed from the sports conference I went to a year ago, September. And so from that year ago, September, to the Catfish conference and working with the city and them getting to see the industry, meeting with Jody explained to them where the city's going or the industry's going, other vendors explaining where the industry's going, Steve Douglas, Hervey, like I said, everyone explaining where this industry's going. They came back and they invited me to several meetings with them, and they took it a lot seriously. So one of the things we said, Cop Point can't really be a place for large events, given the boat ramp that's there now. It's very narrow, it's very steep, and it's not the easiest thing to get down at night. And so for some of the guys that, that's their only option, they got good at it. For people coming from out of state, that's an issue. And so we started talking to them. And again, this is where I'm coming to with Jody. When he submitted the paperwork, he said, you have to get another boat ramp in for this to even be possible. For you to have bigger events in this region, you got the water, you got the Missouri, you got the Kansas. You need a bigger boat ramp, an additional boat ramp there, and it should be a little bit bigger than the one that's existing. No guarantees it's going to happen, but that really helped with the conversation. And there's been several conversations around that area. No guarantee, again, that it will happen, but I can tell you the office that we're working with wants it to happen, and they're looking into how it could happen. All right, and that's it. So there's no guarantee, but that's where to my earlier point, we thank him. He helped us nudge the city to show the industry is growing. Our area where we fish out of the most needs to be built up to support that type of activity. Like St. Joe's got a couple ramps there. If they had a 4-ramp boat ramp there, a 4-slit boat ramp, they could have some huge events there. And they go, Robert Craig, any chance you'll be heading back to Cheney? I'll get to that in a second. But to that question, yes, Robert. If you couldn't stay, yes, we're definitely. All right. So again, thanks to Jody for trusting us with the national championship. And really, there's, like I said, myself, and there's several other people that were part of his discussions. He opened the doors, brought us to the table, and talked to us and we threw out a ton of different ideas, and he picked what he thought he was comfortable with. All right. So thank him for giving us that opportunity. Thank you, Jody, for passing it on to us and pointing out to the city that the industry is growing and our area needs to be developed. So that's good. So again, right. So next one. Any questions on that? We'll keep you guys informed of the national championships. And you know how we run ours. Our tournament trail is a business. There's administrative things that have to happen. And so when it comes to the national championship, we're all, Uzi, Christy, Josh, and I, we'll go out there and talk and kind of brainstorm. But there are some administrative legal things that have to happen too. And like I said, it is a business. It should be ran that way. So we'll keep you informed. We always try to. All right. I talked about the email I sent this morning to the tournament directors, and we're getting replies back. They do have some good questions, and we're going to try to answer all their questions. And we're going to try to pull in more tournament directors. So if you know of tournament trails and people running tournament trails, ask them to send me their email addresses so I can get them on these lists and keep them informed too. If they're interested in doing anything, and hopefully they are. And I'm talking all over the country. And I also sent them the rules, like I said, so they have that now too. And we need to get more trails on board. So I'm just reading off my notes to make sure I covered everything. So enough of that. We'll move on to the next one. All right. Our next event is August 31st at Cop Point, and that wasn't on our schedule. It was not on our schedule, but the river's been so crazy, we wanted to get it on our schedule. And you guys have been asking for a night event, and I really didn't want to do a night event, but circumstances allowed for it. And Tom, you make sure we'll message Joe Burkhart too. We will have biscuits and gravy. You guys will be good. So August 31st night events, we'll have biscuits and gravy in the morning like we always do on the night events. And we'll have snacks and everything when you guys launch, and ice and things like that. That is the Macy's Fish and Find, and you can see that on the Facebook. It's the Macy's Fish and Finds Cop Point night. So $1,000 added to the main payout and $500 added to the big fish. And we have a pretty large big fish payout each time. And so, it really adds a variable in there. And we've had people paid out with big fish that didn't come in first or second. So there you go. All right. Let's see here. August 31st is the night event. And then the one after that is September 7th. That's the day event at Jefferson City. We have that on here. They contacted me today and to confirm. And by the way, thanks for the guys. Thanks to the people that were messaging me, giving me updates on how Jefferson City's boat ramp and park was looking. The last I had heard was the park wasn't accessible because there's water still over the road. So several of you messaged me and said you were driving by and looking at it. I appreciate that. It's one thing when the city tells me everything's going to be good, and it's another thing when an angler drives by and looks at it, because they're looking at it from a tournament standpoint, of us facilitating an event, and that's good. That's what we need. And so I appreciate you guys keeping us in mind and messaging us and letting us know. So September 7th is still a go. It is a day event. I'm not sure, and I know you guys like the pulled pork. I'm not sure we're going to be able to have pulled pork out there, because by the time we leave Kansas City Friday night and get our hotel room and then run the event, getting the pulled pork is probably not realistic. So we'll probably do the hot dogs, because we can pack those up on ice and everything. So we'll probably have hot dogs and chili dogs. Hopefully that'll work for you guys. Everyone's ready for this night event. And the river is probably going to spike, Brian, but with all this rain, and we got rain forecast for the next day or next couple days. Yep, Ken, you got your placeholder in there. I think so. I think it's updated, but Josh, shoot Uzi a message and ask her. She should have, I believe she's got it all updated. Just send her a message and ask her. Hey, Tony. It's supposed to be at work. Okay, so August 31st night. We'll double check after this, make sure everything's getting updated. Joshua, so just message her, make sure you're on there. September 7th is a day event. Hotels, look for the host hotel information. August 31st for the night event, we're going to have security at Caw Point. So there's that for you guys. All right. The question on Cheney, I think it was Robert asked me that, is we have the permit submitted. If we get the permit back, October 5th is our Cheney event. That's what we're shooting for, October 5th. We didn't make a Facebook post for it yet because I don't have the permit back. Last time to get the permit, I had to call them, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's around here somewhere. You're going to get it. As soon as he comes back, because they're not maintaining that office all the time. They have park cleaned up and everything else to do. So we'll just call them. We'll get it straight. I'm sure it'll go. I don't see any other events there. But, yeah, Cheney, the permit submitted tentatively October 5th. If the permit gets approved, that's when we're going to have it at Cheney Reservoir. It'll be Reservoir Cats Part 2, and we'll make it happen. You guys are, it's great down there. Jeff City, September 7th, Joel. I don't know if you heard or not. But Jeff City, September 7th. In the park, like I said, they messaged me today and said they're cleaning off the ramp, they're cleaning up the park, they're going to be ready for us. And next week we'll get the host hotel information sent out. That's right. Yeah. Jeff City is September 7th. Cheney Reservoir is October 5th. All right, enough of that. Border Wars. The Border Wars, we were out at the 5th annual Angel Tournament charity event, and Chris, had a big following, a big support group out there. I think it's 27, 28 boats is what he had. A lot of dog food was donated. They had a ton of prizes given out to people. Some great fish pulled in. And some of those fish were beat up. They were coming off the nest. But a couple of them, I was like, I'm glad I'm not fishing against these guys because they know what they're doing out there. But it was a good event, and while we were there waiting for the boats to come in, we ran over to Sterrett Creek to look at their location and get a layout of it. we got the layout, looked at the hotel. They have a swimming pool there. It was super clean. The hotel area looked clean and picked up. The marina was, the water is still kind of high, but it's coming down. And the marina was operating. A lot of slips. We'll get the prices out on what the slip rentals will be. You can call them, get your hotel reserved, get a slip assigned to you, or rent a slip out if you want to do that. And they have the marina, and then right next to it, they got this little bar right there. And for our Saturday night get together, one of the things we'll probably do is buy a bunch of pizzas like we did last year, and then people can get drinks and stuff right there at the bar. But what I would like to do, and I got to talk to the hotel owners, the marina owners about it, is I'd like to get someone to bring their barbecue out and roast a pig, and have a big barbecue and that Saturday night. I know people have got to get bait and stuff, but while we're all there, may as well have a get together. So we'll do something that Saturday night. Calcutta auction on the 27th, fish the 28th. We'll weigh you. You can go back and get bait like last year. Be off the water by midnight, and we'll go over all that stuff again. And then Sunday, fish one more time. We'll do the combined weights of both days. It will crown the new Border Wars champion. I'll get you guys pictures of the trophies, but they're huge this year. They got a nice bronze eagle on top of them, solid bronze eagle up on top. The Miracle Marine boat is down there, and it protrudes through the picture. It's pretty cool. It's a cool trophy. We had them at the Catfish conference. All right. They got their room. All right, cool, Kim. So yeah, it should be a good time, and it was fun. The Border Wars last time was fun, and just kicking back that night. I know people were tired, but just having pizza and having soda or a beer or so, it was nice. Just talking to everybody, it was good. Just everyone just kind of chill out and relax. My little camera's slipping here, so all right. So the Border Wars, again, we'll get all that information out. We got pictures of things. We may have to make one more trip out there when the water comes down to get better pictures for you, but that's what we'll do. Merchandise. The Wrap Factory is, and I've messaged a couple other people, but the Wrap Factory is who does our wraps for our signs and everything. I got to get some new wraps done, and they said they could do our die-cut decals for the vehicles, and they'll be bigger than the last ones. It'll be the flathead with the complete flags like you guys voted on, and they'll be 8x8s, and they'll be more durable, and they'll go on your outside window. And so when I go there and talk to them, I want to make sure they're 100% clear, because we've already had this problem once this year where we made an order and it was not what we needed. Unfortunately, they tried. It was a mistake, and it's no problem. But we'll go to the guys that actually do it now every day and make sure we get the product we want. So that's what we're going to do. One of the things I'm contemplating on doing is making Border Wars a limited run Border Wars T-shirt. And so I'm going to take a look at that. I think some of you guys may like it. And so, we'll do that. We'll have all our shirts out there. I think we have shirts still for $10 and $15. I think most of them are $10 shirts. And we'll have all that stuff. So I think on the merchandise stuff, we'll have the decals. We're looking at Border Wars specific T-shirts this year, and we'll go from there. But the Border Wars should be a good time. Any questions? I don't see anyone asking questions in here. No questions. All right. All right, guys. Anything? Yeah, the hotel, James, you're right. The hotel does have really good rates. So we're set up on that. We're already plugging in locations and dates for 2020. And so there's going to be some new locations. So keep that in mind, right? Keep that in mind. There'll be some new locations. I don't want to really announce them right now, but we're going to do it. So right now, there's a couple events in August, and yeah, August I was going to fish, but my daughter's moving moving to a different part of LA from where she's at now. I guess out of the Hollywood area, Hollywood LA area to more of a LA area, and so I'm going to be out there, go out there and help her move and get her all set up. So I'm going to miss some of the events, but we'll try to have someone represent All American. We'll just have to look and see what's going on, and I got to get some exact dates from her. All right, so she's on top of things, but that doesn't mean she's passing on the information to me. So I'm kind of in a hold situation right now. But again, we have some big events come out. St. Joe in August. You guys, you've seen some. There's some nice fish caught in the last couple weeks. So I think there's going to be some huge hauls out of that part of the river. All right, still no questions. You guys got anything? Room rented, room rented for borrowers also. Okay. And you guys are great about sharing the events, and I appreciate that. I don't want that to go overlooked. You guys do share a lot of stuff off the page, and we appreciate that. And you guys post a lot on the page, and that's great. And it's keeping professional, which is even better. And there's some things that I got going on in September that I have not told you yet. I'm waiting until we get a little bit closer, but it's gonna be good for us. So there's that. Questions, guys. No questions. Huh. Well, if you don't have any questions, we want to thank all of our sponsors. The Macy's Fish and Find event, the Stovers from Macy's Fish and Find they're going to come down for that event. So that is a great time for you to place your orders and get it brought into Kansas City. So get together with everybody and get them brought in. I'm going to be writing all of our sponsors or calling all of our sponsors and let them know about the national event and what we plan on doing with that. Is my question? Oh, there you go. No, Tony, your question's not popping up. That's a question right there you're asking. Will there be... Oh, okay, oh. Will there be more night tournaments at Cop Point with security? Not this year. All right, not this year, Tony. So here's the problem. We have events to make up. It's a points race season, so our events are going to be points races. The night event is a points race. Jefferson City is a points race. All of that is a points race event, and it's tight. It may seem like it goes pretty deep, but people start playing in second and third and first. They're going to move that leaderboard for the points race is going to change quick. All right, it's going to change really quick. So we got to get those events in, and really this time of year, I know it's hot, and we deliberately kind of stayed away from July and August because of the big events in August, and July is typically June. June, July, and August itself is typically, within the spawn period there, and we try not to have events then. So, and then the flooding on top of that, so we're really behind on getting these things out there. And so we threw in the Macy's because it's a night event. We knew you guys wanted it. We had to get it out there. Then we go straight in a week later into Jefferson City, and that'll knock out 2 events. And then Cheening, that's another event we added on there. So that'll be 3. And then the Border Wars is 4. The season finale may change. And the date for the Tournament of Champions may change too, depending on how we can get these in. There's another location that we're corresponding with every couple weeks to see if that water comes down. And if it is, we're going to have another event there just to get it in. We want you guys to have all those events as possible to, 1, get qualified for the national, 2, so you have events to select from to get to your top events for your points race. So that's the logic. That's the method to the madness. And because of that, night events this late in the season, it's hard. It's hard on the anglers. It's hard on everybody. It wipes out the whole weekend. Really does. So no, Tony. I know that's a long answer to your question, but this wasn't necessarily planned. But we're going to pay for the security. It helps us out, gives us one last thing to worry about, and we can lock everything up and kick back and wait for you guys to bring in the fish. Season pass. Good question, James. Austin likes that question too. No, I owe you guys that. We did the math, and we got to figure something out on it. We do have to do it. If we did a season pass, it won't be that much cheaper. All right, it won't be for all. It won't be for like the Border Wars. So for one, I need to get 2020 schedule put together, and then two, we need to see how many events that actually means for us, and then see what is worth it to you guys to invest into a season pass all up front. Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, Joel. And night tournaments just wear everybody out. And my biggest fear on night tournaments is, one night tournament out of the blue, that's one thing. But when everyone starts stacking the night tournaments along, the weekends are shot. And then these guys go into work shot, and they go straight into another weekend shot, and they're even more tired, and they got to drive home. That's a problem. So we try not to do that, And that's why we try to have food for you guys, too, like we've always said. It is old age for me, James. I know that much. Yeah, he loves all the old. All right. Any more questions, guys? Any more questions? Again, thanks for everyone, telling us congratulations on the tournaments and everything on the night, the national tournament. You guys have heard me in the last couple of years talk about it, my thoughts on it, how I would structure it, things I would factor in. We've got some really good support behind the scenes that are giving us some great ideas on some events for next year. And even though we have our regular season, we may throw in just some fun ones, real low entries, but just some fun events in different locations. And they may not be 8 to 12 hour events, but they can still be fun. We'll just have to take a look at it. But there's some great ideas out there we're going to look at. I like the opportunity that the national championship can bring for us or gives us, to work with it and develop it. And for our tournament series, it gets some visibility for us, gets some visibility for our sponsors, gets visibility for you guys that fish our series. Like I said, you guys are very active on the page, and we like that. We like that you guys don't hold back on your questions and post them, and we like the fact that you guys are willing to come and answer them for people. So that's really good. We have been deleting some people trying to solicit to you guys that are businesses. And again, we're not trying to be mean, but if they're not a sponsor, they have their own business pages. If they're going to solicit, if a business is going to solicit to you guys, they need to be a sponsor. All right. So there you go. So I know everyone wants to, or not everyone, but a lot of people ask us about Jack and Jill's. Well, our way we set things up, we have a lot of spouses fishing together, and couples fishing together. A lot of them, and a lot of kids out on the events. And so we're kind of already there with Jack and Jill's. All of them could be. So, we'll see how big we get and if we can just have an exclusive one like that. Thanks, Jeremy. Appreciate it. All right. Again, this will be on Facebook. You guys could reshare it. Again, thanks again for your support. Check out our sponsors. Keep reading Catfish Now. And Ron, reached out to us immediately after our post and said, he would do and help us communicate out what we need, or be that media sponsor for us. That's great. I see some of you guys going out to county toppers. That's cool. Appreciate it. My Loadmaster that they got, I use all the time. And people ask me about, and I feel like an infomercial right now, but it's true. They literally ask me about it. And that is handy. I do not want to crawl around in the back of my truck, and that Loadmaster is sweet. All right. And I see you guys, some people are asking about planer boards, and I see you guys are referencing Parks planer boards. That's good. And he's another one said, hey, he'll support us and help us. So that's good too. Appreciate all that. Macy's Fishing Finds, GNR Baits, everybody. Monster Rod Holders. Again, remember at our events, we'll do the Monster Rod Holder Big Fish and get that picture and everything. And then everyone who's won Big Fish throughout the year will get their name put in a drawing, and we'll draw that name for $400 coming from Steve Douglas and Monster Rod Holders. They said they would do more with us, but he just sent that over just for that particular little thing of the big fish. So that's cool, right? I was just on the phone with him. He's like, hey, I'm just going to send you this $400 right now. Use it the way you want. And I said, well, I'll use it for the big fish guys. And he's like, perfect, do it. So that was good. All right, Miracle Marine, some pretty sweet boats. And in breaking news or other news, Dave Swearingen got himself that nice boat. That's pretty sweet. It's pretty sweet. So, and we got the price thing posted for everybody. We could do, I do see that getting asked quite a bit. All right, and we got, so Parks last year, I'm glad you said that, Jeremy. Parks last year gave us 2 planer boards, and we do have those on display. You guys have seen them. We'll have them out there with the snacks and all of that. And the guys that still have the fishing poles that we loaned out, get some pictures with them. I know the river's been out of control and people have been working a lot, but let's try to get some pictures and see what you guys think of them. All right? Any other questions? Yeah, that is an insane. I like that boat. I do like that boat. So, all right, guys. If there's no other questions, I'll give it a courtesy 2 minutes because I know there's a delay. And again, I appreciate you. I appreciate your support. And we're going to get this whole streaming thing figured out sooner or later. We're going to have better lights, better camera, and all that stuff. And we'll actually get the stuff to work when it's supposed to, when I click start streaming. So be patient. I appreciate you guys. Nothing. We did get asked about the Special Olympics tournament, and once Clinton gets it back up to speed and everything, we'll see about having that one again. And so that's another one we had to make up. So there, we've got a lot of pans in the fire right now. A lot of pans in the fire. All right. Anything. One more minute. All right. Well, if there's no other questions tonight, I appreciate you guys joining, and hopefully we got you a good update. Again, just a recap, the 31st night event is Macy's Fishing Finds. That's the rescheduled event from Lexington, the Battle of Lexington. We just switched it to Cobb Point. In Jefferson City, that did not change. That is the location that we had on our original schedule. Yeah, late fall, I think you're right, Josh. Late fall would be good, Clinton. I agree with you. But again, we appreciate you, and we're going to have events probably all the way up into December as it looks right now. Because I know you guys want to have winter events. We're still going to have winter events for you. All of that. All right? So we'll do everything we can for you guys. Hey, I appreciate that. Thanks, James. Thanks. So, alrighty, guys. Thanks a lot. Have a good night.